Hi, my name is Katie Rose and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am actually going to talk about my experience with getting a breast augmentation and just kind of sharing some things that I went through and maybe some helpful tips that you might take if this is something that you are considering. First off, I do want to kind of say that if you are going to have a breast augmentation, do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for you because this is something that you truly want. And, never do something for somebody else. So, first up, my experience was kind of unique. I had been going through some things. I had cancer and kind of, going through some processes of myself and kind of was like, I want to feel more like a woman again. I want to do this not only because I wanted to feel like a woman, but I thought, this is something that I've always wanted, and I feel like I'm just going to get so much confidence from this, and this is just going to be, a really great experience. So basically what I did was, kind of do a ton of research. Look at doctors in your area. Google is a real big help. Real Self is another big source of information. You can actually talk to other people that are thinking about doing the surgery, real board certified doctors, and also, post questions and you'll get doctors' answers. When you are looking for a doctor is to find someone that is board certified. This is so important. You do not want to go to a doctor that is not a plastic surgeon and that is not board certified. Those two things are so important. You don't want to just go to any old doctor. You want to make sure that this is what they do, that this is what they can specialize in, and they can do what you want them to do. So basically, when you are looking for a doctor, you want to look for social media accounts like Twitter, Instagram, see if they have a website, check it out, look at the pictures that are posted on there. Maybe try to talk to people that have gone to that doctor or ask friends around that, got a boob job and, went to this doctor and had a great experience with it. So that's definitely one of the most important things, is obviously to make sure you're going to a qualified doctor. I can't tell you enough how many people have actually contacted me and have been like, what, I went to this doctor, I didn't investigate, it was just so cheap and I did it, and then later, ended up having complications and then having to go to another doctor. So you obviously do not want that to happen. I would also recommend going to several different doctors, visiting their office, having a consult with them, asking tons of questions. Basically like, are you board certified? Where do you have hospital privileges? Do you do it in-house? Saline versus silicone. When is this something that you would be able to do? What size do you recommend for me? How long is the surgery? So those are just like a few different questions that you can ask. Obviously, come up with your own questions, but, definitely ask questions. Bring a notepad and pen with you because it's going to be so much information and it's probably going to be overwhelming. So definitely bring someone with you and get as much information as you can from them. Normally doctors will give you kind of like a folder and they'll have, all. Then you want to go to a doctor that specializes in, larger implants because you don't want to go to someone that has never done that before and, isn't somebody who would be willing to do that. Obviously they're going to tell you what your body can handle because, as far as your size and your weight and how much skin you have is essentially, the first steps into where you can go. There are different types of implants, saline versus silicone. So, obviously those are a lot of different options. You just have to kind of go into it with, this is kind of where I want to be. Take pictures of people's boobs that you like. I know it sounds a little bit, crazy in some aspects, but take pictures. So, you know, obviously, like I was talking about, the most important thing is to go in with as much information as possible. You know, do the research, make yourself aware that, you know, these are all the different types of procedures as far as breast augmentation. They can make their incision here, they can make an incision here, you know, and just kind of get that understanding of, okay, you know, this is the size that I want, this is where I want to go. So when you are considering to do a breast augmentation, obviously you want to make sure that, you know, you go on several different appointments, you talk to several different doctors. A lot of times these appointments are actually free, or if they do charge you, that will actually go towards your surgery if you do decide to go to them. But you want to make sure that you're going to a lot of different doctor's appointments. You don't want to just go to one person, because what if they don't specialize in what you want them to do? You want to go to someone that, if you want to go larger, that they can accommodate that they can actually do that they feel comfortable doing that. A lot of times, you know, it definitely depends on, you know, what you have already, like your skin, your weight, you know, your height. All these things obviously do play a role, and sometimes you can't go as big as you want the first time, but you know, you can definitely get there. The other thing that I will tell you is boob greed is real. It is a real thing, and a lot of doctors will actually tell you to go bigger than what you actually thought you wanted to go before. So basically 50 cc's. So if you're just going up like 50 cc's, so let's say you're doing like 500 and you go up to 550, you're not going to notice the difference at all. If you go up to 600, you might notice a little bit of a difference, but essentially 200 cc's is like where you're going to notice a significant difference. So like when the swelling goes down, your boobs are going to be a lot smaller than what you thought they were going to be. I know when I first got my first boob job, I was like, wow, this is the perfect size. I absolutely love this. But then like once the swelling went down, I was like, this wasn't really what I wanted, you know, so I kind of decided, you know, to take it up a next level. But the first time that I got a boob job, obviously, I had done a lot of research in my area. I had discovered Real Self. I had asked questions to doctors. I took pictures of people that I liked their boobs. I even posted, you know, questions on Real Self so that I could talk to real doctors to kind of see, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Do you think this would be possible? And this was just kind of like in the meantime while I was going on several different consults. And then once I chose the doctor, you know, I obviously made sure he was board certified, made sure he had a lot of, you know, references and a website and social media, because that is really important to demonstrate your work if this is something that, you know, a doctor's their profession is. And then when I went back in for my second appointment with the doctor that I had chosen, you know, that was the time where we really discussed size and really kind of were like, okay, you know, this is where I want to go. I want to do silicone. I wanted to do the ultra high, and I wanted to go as big as I could go. So at the time that was 450 cc's. I went ultra high, and I did silicone. That was for me. That was like my choice. You know, obviously silicone is a little bit more expensive than saline, but it's all a preference. Whatever you decide will be right for you. And so once I, you know, did that, set an appointment, you know, and kind of got everything settled, then it was like, okay, I'm finally doing this. I'm finally getting this done. And, this is just so exciting. Like I can't believe I'm finally doing this. So, you know, obviously the day of the surgery, you know, they've given you medication previously so that you can take this medication previously to coming in. A lot of it is like antibiotics and, you know, making sure that you have your painkiller before, because, you know, obviously they don't want you to have to go to the store after, and obviously you're not going to be in any condition to drive to the hospital and or home from the hospital. So you definitely want to make sure that that someone can give you a ride. Do not take Uber, because you do not know that driver and they do not know you, and that could cause a lot of different things. If you do not have someone in your area, I know that there's like nurses that can actually like take care of you. You know, if you go to a hotel or something, that you can pay them for that. So that's obviously something that you might want to consider if you don't have someone. You know, that's a great alternative, because you never want to go through something this major alone. So the day of my surgery, I know that I was so excited and so nervous, and just like all these emotions were going through me, like, it's finally here, oh my God, is it gonna turn out okay? And just kind of like breathe, like, I've got this, you know? And it's okay to have all those emotions, because obviously this is a big step. I know that, you know, I got to the doctor's office with the hospital that he was affiliated with, checked in, you know, got everything settled, and then, you know, obviously they went back. They made sure that, you know, I was okay, and, you know, that I was comfortable, that the doctor talked to me, what was gonna happen, made the marks as far as, okay, like this is you know, the marks that we're putting on you, this is where we're gonna do the incision again, and just kind of went over the process, told you this is how long it's gonna take. Don't worry, you know, we're gonna call your friend, and you won't have to worry about any of that. So just relax. So then, you know, obviously I got into the hospital gown. They started an IV, and, you know, the anesthesiologist came in, and they made me feel so comfortable. They were actually making me laugh, and I felt like that was a really good, you know, experience, because you want someone that's gonna make you feel super comfortable. It was very easy. You know, I didn't have to like sit there and have them like poke at me several times. It was just like one and done. And then, you know, I took some medication, and then they wheeled me into the operating room. Now that is the last thing that I remember. I do not remember anything about surgery. I remember, obviously, you know, waking up and kind of being like, where am I? Like being like, where am I? Like, okay, like there's some huge pressure on me. Like, what is that? And just kind of like not really realizing like what just happened. So then, like, you know, the doctor came in, the anesthesiologist came in, you know, made sure that I was okay, you know, kind of reminded me like, okay, you just did this, you know, and initially I definitely was in shock. I was like, oh my God, because you look down and like you have something that's like right on your face, like legit. Like you look down and it's like you have these big lumps right there, I guess you could say. And, you know, it was a lot. It was a lot to kind of process. And definitely I felt like there was like an elephant on top of me. It really does feel like you have an elephant on top of you, because you have something there for the first time that you haven't had there before. And so I don't think that anyone can really prepare you for that feeling that you have like a weight on your shoulders, or not on your shoulders, but on your chest. It made it really difficult to kind of breathe properly. And I know that I was fairly out of it still. So, you know, I really didn't think about that too much. It was more so like, I want to go home. I want to go to sleep. Like, just take me home. So, you know, obviously I had a friend. They were able to take me home, and, you know, they stayed with me to make sure that everything was okay. I do remember them, you know, every so often being like, okay, you have to walk, you know, to kind of make sure that, you know, you're okay. And then to make sure that you're circulating your body, because you want to get the medication out of you as quickly as possible. They want you to drink a ton of water, and then just, you know, kind of, that's also kind of a thing where your friend can be like, okay, you're okay, you know, like, let's do this, like, everything's gonna be fine. And you know, it really wasn't until like probably like the third day where I was like, okay, this did just happen, and I could finally kind of move a little bit. It wasn't like, you know, the aftermath of having surgery, I know that that's not something that anybody can really prepare you for, because everybody kind of reacts differently. Everybody has a different recovery time, and certainly, you know, that's kind of you for you. Like, my experience with it is gonna be maybe different than your experience. My experience, I didn't really kind of like wake up and kind of like was really all there, probably like the third day. On the third day, I, you know, kind of realized what was going on. You know, so I wasn't in as much pain as I was the first 2 days that I had the procedure. The pain level was still pretty bad, not gonna lie. The most difficult thing, I think, for me was walking. You don't realize that once you have a boob job, like walking to the bathroom, for instance, could take you 20 minutes, because literally you still have this huge weight on you. And so like walking short distances, for instance, is super hard. You know, trying to just like get off of your bed can actually be difficult. Anything with your arms can be difficult. You know, walking just to the bathroom, you know, it could take you 20 minutes. It really just depends on, you know, you and how your body can handle things and how you can handle things. I mean, obviously everybody handles pain differently and everybody's body heals differently. So, you know, that's something that I don't think that anyone can really prepare you for, other than the fact that you will have this like weight on your chest for a while. It's not just gonna go away. It probably took me a few months to get that weight really off of my chest. So I know that I wasn't really able to walk very far without having to stop or catching my breath. And I think that that was kind of the thing that I didn't really realize. Also, you know, being able to lift things. I wasn't able to lift things or carry heavy things. You know, all of that took a lot of time to be able to do. So there's a few things in which, you know, you need that time to recover. So I would definitely recommend taking a lot of time off of work, because unless you just sit there and pretty much do nothing, turning can hurt. I mean, like, just, you know, typing or something I think would be fine, but if you have any sort of movements, I mean, you're gonna be in pain. I remember I had some sharp pains, and, you know, I did talk to my doctor and he said it was totally normal. And, you know, for me, it just took a little bit longer than I thought it was gonna take. But again, everybody's body heals differently. I just know that when I first did it, it was the best thing that I ever did. I filled things out that I could never fill out before. I looked at myself in a different way. And it's just amazing how much confidence I gained from that alone. Like, it was just amazing. Like, nobody can really prepare you for that either, because it's just like an internal thing. It's something that everybody kind of discovers on their own in their path, whatever that path may be. So, I mean, everybody's path is differently, you know, and so whatever you discover on your path, that's obviously your discovery. Mine, it was just amazing. Like, you never think that something like that will really make a huge impact on your life and change you. This changed me in a way that I can't explain. It just was something that it was like, wow, I finally kind of feel whole. I'm just so happy. Like, I couldn't contain myself. I wanted to like shout, I got a boob job. You know, I am so happy. Like, I couldn't thank the doctor enough, you know, and it was just like such an amazing experience for me, that I just was like, you know, I can't believe I did this so late, and, you know, I wish I would have done this earlier. After that surgery, I waited about a year. I knew that I wanted to do more. I knew that I wanted to be bigger. And again, I did a lot of research in my area because I hadn't moved. So I wanted to make sure that I was, you know, talking to the right doctors, getting, you know, a lot of different opinions, and obviously doing my research. From there, I chose a doctor, And when I did it the second time around, it was a lot easier. You know, you kind of already went through that experience. So then your second time around, it was like probably the first day I was like, wow, I can move. Like I don't feel as bad as I did the first time. You know, because I was expecting the first time and like the pain level and just all of that. It was just like, wow, like I feel so much better. So probably within like the first day, you know, I felt pretty good. Now I still had a huge weight on my chest, obviously. So, you know, there are things that are gonna still be difficult, and obviously like lifting and, you know, just kind of getting back into your routine is gonna be a little bit more difficult, but it was easier the second time around. So the second time around, I went 800 cc's. I still stuck with silicone, and I did moderate profile. I did the largest silicone that there is available within the United States, and I'm really happy with them. I mean, I can't tell you again the growth of myself, the growth that I felt, the confidence now that I have. It changed my life yet again. And this was all from doing something that I wanted to do, and for believing in myself, and for sticking this ride out. And, you know, you don't understand if you're not a woman. Like, boobs are everything. So when I did it, I did do 800 cc's, and I'll stand up and kind of show you a little bit just so that you can see. And then this is my profile. So, you know, obviously the second time around was a lot easier. I didn't have to take as much time off of work, but it was still difficult. You know, obviously I had a lot of other things going on, so, you know, that definitely played a role in it. However, I just can't tell you how much it changed my life yet again. You just don't understand until you do it, and then it's like, just wow. I have so much more confidence than I had before. I can now fill things out that I could never fill out before. I have curves. Like, I never had curves in my entire life, and I have curves now. It's like, it's just mind-blowing. And for me, it was the most positive experience that I've ever gone through. My journey obviously has not completed, and I'll talk about that in another video, but going through all of this really made me understand what I want to do, where I want to go, and that doing things for me and not caring what other people think is the best thing in the entire world. Because once you start living for you, you don't need all of that. Like, you're just like, who cares what everybody else thinks? As long as you are happy and you're not harming yourself, then that's all that matters. Honestly, that is all that matters. So now we'll break it down into cost. Now, my first boob job costed about $7,000. Now, that does sound a lot, but you know, you're paying the hospital, you're paying an anesthesiologist, you're paying for the implants, and you're paying for doctors. So the first time was $7,000. The second time that I had a breast augmentation, it was $6,000. So it was a little bit cheaper, and the reason being was because he had his own surgery facility. So he was board certified and had his own surgery in-house. So he didn't have to go through a hospital. So it was a little bit less. You know, boob jobs range anywhere, I really think, between like $2,000 and like, I don't know, $15,000, depending on what you're having done. And, you know, if it's your first surgery, if it's your second surgery, you know, it really just depends. The thing that, you know, I knew that I wanted to do this, so I wanted to make sure that, one, you know, I knew the cost. I knew what it was gonna do, and so that's why I did it. You know, and I think you have to prepare yourself for that, because it is a lot, and you know, you want to make sure that you can afford it and that you know, you're gonna be okay, because it is a lot of money. And definitely, you know, it's also a big decision, but it's a lot of money. Well, I have a visitor now. He came. He wanted to say hi. So, you know, obviously my experience with it was just an amazing experience. It had been a journey. It was definitely a eye-opening journey, and a journey where I learned a lot about myself, and kind of, you know, now I feel like, okay, I've done research on so many doctors. I've talked to so many people. I have found a lot of friends that actually have gotten augmentations done. And so now I feel so educated that, you know, if I were to go bigger, then, you know, I already know what I would do, who I would go to. And, you know, it's just an amazing experience. And now I am beyond confident, and, you know, it brings a smile to my face every day. It's just, I am so lucky to be able to be in this position. And, you know, doing something like this is a big decision, but it was the best decision that I've ever made in my entire life. I know that I did have some questions from people about, you know, my personal experience. So hopefully I answered all of those questions that you had. If for whatever reason I didn't and you want to know something further, just send me a message. I will be more than happy to answer anything. If I skipped anything, whatever the case may be, you know, feel free to send me a message or leave me a comment, and I will absolutely answer to the best of my ability, and or point you in a direction in which I know you'll be able to find the answer. So definitely make sure that you do send me questions if you have any, or leave comments. I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I now am going to go because he wants all of my attention. This is my love of my life. His name is Bentley. Yeah, you're a cute dog. Okay, so anyways, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my videos if you want to see something, or you would like me to talk about something. Obviously, send me a message. You can find me on social media, Twitter and Instagram, and also Patreon. And my Patreon account will also be linked as well on this video. So thank you again for watching. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. And I am Katie Rose, and bye-bye for now.